Got called one night for an elderly woman at a nursing home with 2 broken ankles after an unwitnessed fall. We arrive expecting the usual nursing home mess, but our patient is just sitting there on the edge of her bed, smiling and pleasant as can be. At this point, the stereotypically unenthusiastic LPN materializes just long enough to hand me paperwork before vanishing. According to the papers, the patient has the usual history of diabetes, dementia, hypertension, and kidney disease. Most of your usual nursing home stuff. Based on my initial assessment, all of her vitals are stable, and she has no apparent distress. She's a sweet little old lady who thinks Nixon is still president and quite eager to voice her disapproval of this unfortunate fact, but was otherwise happy to answer my questions. Did you fall? Oh no. Are you in any pain? No, why should I be? Do you have any idea why your nurse called us to take you to the hospital? Oh, how in blazes would know that. Good point. So I asked her if she could stand up, and she does. She stands up fine, walks fine, no complaints whatsoever. I find the nurse and ask her if she'd like us to cancel the transport and disregard the call. Predictably, she tells me the patient's legs are obviously and severely rotated externally, which means she must have fallen, and the fact that I don't see that means I'm some type of idiot. So I ask her if she has any other information. She then spends several minutes giving me the usual line. This isn't my unit. She's not my patient. I've been on vacation, I just started, etc. Eventually, I wheel the patient to the nurse's station. Can you tell me what's wrong again, just for my report? Are you a *kicking idiot? Her ankles are obviously broken. Can't you see her toes aren't even pointing the right way? Are you sure? Yes, look at it. Both ankles are completely backwards. Okay. But do you want to have one more look just to be sure they're really broken and that she doesn't just have her shoes on the wrong goddamn feet? I was a blacksmith at a federal historical site, and I used to make nails as a demonstration. Another blacksmith was making nails, and a lady remarked, "They didn't have nails back then." 17th century. To which the blacksmith replied, "Right, lady, they scotch taped Christ to the cross." One time I dropped my phone off at a repair shop. I told them, "This is my phone, so please email me when it's fixed." They found out that night it was unfixable. Of course, I didn't know this until 3 days later, because they called me instead of emailing me. A few years ago, far more recent than it should be, I had to send a document to the local council. They asked me to fax it. I asked if I could just scan and email it, and they said no because we need the original. I was talking to the cashier at a 24-hour Tesco's at about 1 in the morning, and he said, "I don't mind working nights because I'm a necrophile." I said, "Do you mean nocturnal?" My first job at 16 was at Party City. One day, I'm blowing up balloons at the balloon counter, and a lady comes up to buy some latex balloons. I asked if she wanted us to fill them, and she said no, she'd do it at home. Making small talk, I said, "Oh, you must have one of the party time helium tasks at home." "No, I blow them up with my mouth. You just put the string on them and they float." I do the multiple blinks, trying to work out in my head what she's just said. She fully believed she could blow up the balloons with her mouth and the magic was attaching a string. I tried to give this woman an impromptu chemistry lesson. She insisted. I still think about that magic woman to this day. 5 years ago, I watched some kid in Target who couldn't have been older than 8, 9 eating hand sanitizer in order to protect himself from the coronavirus. If coronavirus doesn't wipe us all out, natural selection isn't far behind. I went into a McDonald's to get food. There were 2 girls behind the counter who weren't paying any attention to me. They were busy waiting on food for the drive-thru. One girl said, "It kind of made me mad because he only wanted to do anal because I'm on my period." When I kept saying no, he said, "Well, your mom likes it when we do anal. Why can't you?" The other girl said, "See, this is why you don't F***ck guys who are F***ing your mom. You need to find yourself an older guy who is single and will buy you things." A dialogue I actually had to have with a grown adult. Him, pointing at the price tag on a shirt. "Excuse me, what do these numbers represent?" Me. "The numbers right after the $sign? Him. "Yes." Me. "That's the price of the shirt." Him. "Oh, I see, thank you." At least he was friendly. was having a new exhaust put onto my Subaru by a small specialty shop in Buffalo, New York. We dropped it off and said we would just go walk around for a couple of hours till it was done. Staff advised us not to, as it was a rough area. We were 19 and from Canada. What's the worst that could happen? After walking through a couple of blocks of burnout houses and a straight out of the movies, for us, ghetto, we decided to turn around and get back to the shop ASAP. We walk around a corner only to see a group of 5 large, thuggish-looking young black men ahead of us. They notice us, turn, and walk in our direction. Instant brick shitting. Do we run? Do we plead for our lives? We decide to do the Canadian thing and just keep walking like nothing's going to happen. The gang reaches us after a few seconds and kind of does a half circle around the two of us. There is no escape, only robbery or death. What appears to be the leader makes contact. "Yo, we got a question for you guys." We sheepishly reply, yeah? What's the plural form of penis? Penises? I think so. One of the other gang members blurts out, "See, I told you, man," as they all kind of laugh and thank us, then tell us to have a good day. That is my only encounter with American street youth. Went to the city court to pay off a ticket. I was upset because the wait was about an hour and a half, plus who enjoys paying for a ticket? Finally, my number gets called, and as I sit down at one of the desks, an older man walks in and sees the ridiculous amount of people waiting in the queue. The man says, "F***ck it, I'll just go to jail," loud enough for some of us to hear, then walks out of the building. The lady at the desk didn't think it was funny, but it made my day. I went out at like 2 in the morning to buy cigarettes and tried a few shops, but they were all closed. While walking home in sorrow, I was accosted by a young man with a knife who asked quite politely for all my money. I was a very poor backpacker at the time, and the $50 in my pocket was pretty much the last of my money for the month. I showed the guy my empty wallet, hoping he would leave it at that, but he noticed my bus pass and decided to take that instead. He then handed me 2 cigarettes and apologized for the inconvenience and walked away. In a state of semi-shock, I realized that without my bus pass, L had no way of getting the 5 a.m. bus to work, damn Vancouver Transport Company, and expressed my frustration out loud. The guy came back and asked me what was wrong. After I explained, he handed me back my bus pass and said, "We've all got to make a living somehow." I was at the gym recently and overheard a guy talking on the phone to someone who I presume was his wife. The conversation went something like this. "I just need another 10 or 15 minutes to finish up. Just another 10 or 15 minutes. Just another 10 or 15 minutes. Just another 10 or 15 minutes. Just another. Okay, fine, I'm leaving now." He then hung up and spent the next 10 to 15 minutes finishing up his routine. I work at a coffee shop. Woman comes in saying that the mug she bought is defective. I ask what is wrong and she goes, "It says it's microwave and the dishwasher safe. I put it in the microwave to heat it up and it got hot." Me? Yeah, it means it can be used in a microwave without breaking. Has a bowl never gotten hot when you've microwaved it? The contents heat up the container as well. Then it's not safe. About a year ago, I worked selling solar panel systems. This job required me to wear khakis and a blue polo when I was meeting customers. One particular day, after meeting with a homeowner, I had to stop by my local Walmart to get more pens and a notepad for my work bag. I pretty consistently got asked if I worked there by other customers, and I would help if I knew what they were after. But I always told them that I didn't work there, and they were always kind. So on this fateful day, I grabbed my pens and paper and checked out in the self-checkout section. As I was leaving, I heard someone say behind me, "And just where do you think you're going?" Roughly 30 feet from my car, I hear again, "Hey you, stop!" I do turn around at that one, because that's typically what you say to a thief. An employee is marching towards me, 8 different kinds of pissed off. She starts reaming into me about how I'm abandoning my shift and I'm not supposed to get off for another 3 hours. I'm standing there bewildered because I genuinely have no clue what she's talking about, and I try to let her know I don't work there, but she won't let me get a word in. Eventually she says, "Forget it, you're fired." I waited about 5 seconds and told her, "I don't work here. I've never worked here." She stared at me and ran back inside.